Hello, and welcome to the Empowerography Podcast. This is a platform created for women's voices to be heard and a place to share their stories, journeys, and successes with the world for the purpose of helping other women who might be on similar journeys. We are empowering women one episode at a time. I'm your host, Brad Walsh, so kick back, grab one of your favorite beverages, and enjoy the stories. You've got a story to share, a message to inspire, and a passion ready to ignite. But where do you start? The world is waiting for your voice. With From Idea to Implementation, Start Your Own Podcast, you'll get the roadmap to turn your vision into reality. This isn't just a course, it's your launching pad. Step by step, we'll break down the process from defining your purpose to recording your first episode so you can finally share your voice with confidence. Stop overthinking it and start doing it. Your voice has the power to connect and lead. Are you ready to use it? Join the waitlist today. Your podcast journey starts now. The world is waiting. You can find the link to sign up for the waitlist in the show notes. We'll see you soon. Hello there, Brad Walsh here, your host of the Empowerography Podcast. Today, my guest is Lauri Getlan-Watson. She is an abstract and NeuroGraphika artist, a teacher, and a guide. Welcome, Lauri. How are you doing today?
Thank you, Brad. I'm wonderful. Thanks. Hope you're well, too.
Excellent. I am doing amazing. I am so excited to have you here and looking forward to jumping in and sharing all the things, Lauri, the beautiful light you put out into the world and a little bit about your story and your journey. So with that being said, let us jump right in. Lauri, how long have you been a teacher for, and what grade and subjects do you teach?
I just finished my 33rd year of teaching, which is insane to me. And I have taught every grade possible from kindergarten through 12th grade seniors, as well as adults.
And so what inspired your journey into the world of becoming an educator?
Honestly, it was my 6th grade math teacher. I am not that well blessed in the area of mathematics. And my 6th grade math teacher always told me I could do whatever I wanted to do and to not think about where I was placed, so to speak, because it was leveled classes at that time. And he just really inspired me to want to make that feeling happen for other students and other kids. So he was my catalyst to go into teaching.
Wow. So you knew from that young you wanted to be a teacher?
I really did. I wanted to be either a classroom teacher or also an art teacher. And when I was going through the time in the process for applying for colleges, unfortunately, our country was having many cuts in the arts. And so going into the field as an art teacher, I felt was going to be a little limited and I wasn't going to be able to find a job. So I went into regular education.
Okay. And so what is it that excites or lights you up the most about teaching and being an educator?
Seeing the light bulb go off for my students. They have that glimmer in their eye and that aha moment when they're struggling with something and you know that you've been able to reach them and touch them. And the connections that I make with kids. We're with them for so many hours of the day, sometimes more than their parent. And so knowing that you can make a difference and a connection in their life really is what lights me up.
I love it. Now, being an educator for the length of time you've been one and being involved in the school system, how has the world of being an educator / teacher evolved from when you first started your career to where you are today? Has it changed for the better? Has it gotten progressively worse in terms of responsibilities, curriculum, etc.?
I think we go in waves with the field of education. I definitely think there are ebbs and flows. In terms of technology, we've grown leaps and bounds. In terms of being able to open a world to students that may not be fortunate enough to travel or have experiences, technology has allowed for that. We are still very far behind in terms of equality for students and education. I also feel that our teachers have been put in a place with more stress than in the past. The class sizes are huge. We are not only a teacher now, we are a mental health facilitator.
Mm-hmm.
We are a parent. We are a teacher. We are a nurse. We are a psychologist. We wear many hats these days.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we don't have always the support we need in order to provide all of that.
I hear and see constantly on social media the comparison and the differences in terms of the education system here in North America versus China, say, for an example. They're teaching these kids mathematics, and they're really like stuff that they could, science and all these other things. And the North American school system, just, I hear it all the time, and I've seen it too when my girls were in school. I think the education system's fucking broken. I think we teach them, in my opinion, now correct me if I'm wrong, you're in the system, but I think we teach them useless drivel that there's no use for in life. They can't, like, we teach them to memorize shit and regurgitate it. We're not teaching them useful skills. Why aren't we teaching them health and wellness and mindful and meditation and yoga? And why aren't we bringing back, and I understand a lot of it probably has to do with budget cuts and whatnot, but art, as you said, is a very useful tool. Home economics, teaching them how to cook, teaching them about banking, teaching them about life skills that they can actually use instead of the shit that we're drilling into the kids today. I agree. Where is that coming? Like, why I understand, again, I understand that part of it is probably budget, but I mean, it's useless. So how do we move past this? Is there a way to bring this stuff back? Is the system irreparable now?
I think that for everything, it starts with the people, right?
Mm-hmm.
It can start as a grassroots movement. It can start with parents taking a little bit more control.
Okay.
I think that we have a society now where, unfortunately, many of the parents are sideliners and they're watching from the outside in. And as well as the fact that I feel that government is too involved in things. And there are things in our curriculum that are taught that, as you say, either A, are not necessary, or B, are false. Let's actually teach the reality of things and not the watered down, glossy paged textbook part.
Right.
And I think that with what I have seen in terms of people's shifts recently, I have faith. I have faith that we can come back to a place of educating our kids and having it become more holistic, so to speak. I think that the more of us who are in the education field, who are holistic and who do look at the world in a different viewpoint, can bring those things in. I know that as a teacher, I bring that into my classroom. I have a completely different way of being with my students now in terms of helping them handle things, helping them de-stress. The seniors and juniors that I work with are completely high strung because of college and not knowing the path that they want to travel, and having the methods that I have learned and that I utilize for myself and now passing those on to my students, I think creates more of a holistic student, child to young adult. And then they can take that into the world and then it's passed on again. But I agree. I think that the United States, our education is broken.
It's here in Canada too. It's not just the United States. It's the same here in Canada. It is. And it's funny, I was interviewing someone a while back and we were talking about the education system. We were talking about the healthcare system as well. And I said to her, these systems are broken. And she said, they're actually not broken. They're working exactly how they were designed to work.
Correct, because there is always an agenda.
Yes.
There's always an agenda that we were not a part of the planning for. And it's a part of that world of follow the leader.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so we have to have a very strong, I don't want to use the word uprising, but empowerment, shall we say, as a people, as a country, as parents, as caregivers, to be able to try and make this change.
I think we are seeing parents taking the power back in terms of, I know of a lot more people that are homeschooling their kids because they don't want them in the education system because it is absolute garbage. They're not
Yes.
helping these kids in any way. And I mean, I'm sure there are individual teachers who are like you that want to make a difference in their kids' lives, want to bring back all of these things, but you are stifled. You can't. So what kind of autonomy do you have in order to teach a curriculum or things that you want or that you feel that the kids should have in their lives in the education system?
I personally can say that I feel blessed in that area
Okay.
because I do have more autonomy than other teachers that I know of, other
Okay.
friends that I have in the
Yep.
system. And so I am given a little bit more of a blank canvas.
Okay.
I do have to meet certain standards. I also work with students with learning disabilities. So I am in a bit of a different situation
Right.
than what you would call, than what an, I don't want to use the word regular, but a teacher who teaches strictly, let's say, math or English.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working with students on all subject matters. And because my students have learning disabilities, I'm able to dig into my toolbox and go off the beaten path, so to speak, with them, right? So that they can understand the concepts that they're having more difficulty with. However, my own children are in public schools here in the United States,
Mm-hmm.
and there is a set curriculum, and you are meant to get through that curriculum by a certain time. Doesn't matter. I keep thinking way back when in the United States, no child left behind. Where did that go? And they keep on going. And I think that honestly, COVID opened the eyes to many parents when their kids were at school. They were stuck on a computer the whole day.
Mm-hmm.
They were not receiving what they needed. And that led to this group of parents leaning out of the school system and bringing it back to the home and integrating within homeschooling life skills. Like you mentioned earlier, how do you boil water?
Exactly. Something so simple, but I think mindfulness is important. We need to teach these kids mindfulness. So bring in meditation, bring in yoga, bring in all these different ways to deregulate the nervous, like all of these things that are so important to life. I've been seeing a lot of posts lately too, people talking about the education system and how really the parents aren't even raising their kids. It's the government that's raising their kids because they're in school all of that time. Then they get home, the parents are working, there's busy lives. So the parents aren't even raising their children. It's the school system that's raising their children.
Yes.
What is the way out of this?
It's true. Throw in extracurricular activities. And how many of our parents in the world today in the United States are throwing dinner on the table, rushing, setting the timer, having to leave, get to this practice, get to that practice, get to this recital, get to that activity. And we are not sitting at home having conversations like we used to. And it's sad. I mean, I remember growing up and it was, you came home from school, you did your homework and you had dinner as a family. And then you had other things that were going on, but you talked about the world. You talked about what was happening. You checked in with each other.
Yeah. It's things need to change. We could do an entire episode dedicated education and school system for sure. So let's move past this. Now, I know that you've fairly recently had a spiritual awakening. I'm very curious to hear how your spiritual journey began. Was there a catalyst moment in your life that led you down that spiritual path? And if so, would you mind sharing that with us?
Of course. So it's now been a year, I would say, that this awakening has occurred for me. And I'm 58. So I was 57 when this occurred. And I'm a single mom. And I've been a single mom since I have twins, since they were 2.5 years old. And I was sitting in my apartment. My kids were asleep. And I had a really long day at work. And I came home And I was having like my downtime, which usually doesn't even happen until close to 10 o'clock at night. And I was sitting on the sofa and I was just looking around my apartment. And I thought to myself, I know there is something more for me. I know that this is not what my life was meant to be. And I've always had a draw to spirituality. I've always had a draw to the sky. I've always been drawn to astrology, knowing there's a higher being, knowing that there's another way of going about things. And I just sat here thinking to myself, I know that there is more for me. And I just sat and asked, how do I find out what I'm meant for? And that's really where it started, on my sofa, probably on a Tuesday evening at 10:30, looking around, saying, I know I'm meant for more than waking up, making lunches, sending my kids to school, going to work, picking them up from school, making dinner, doing bedtime, hit repeat.
Yeah. Rinse, repeat.
Exactly. And so that's where it really began. And that's when I started diving into researching, using social media, looking at groups of people, putting myself and inserting myself in as an observer, and just really recognizing that is where I was meant to be.
I think a lot of people, I think a lot of people have been feeling that way and thinking, is this really all there is? There's got to be more than this.
Yeah,
you go to work, get up in the morning, get ready, go to work, come home, get dinner ready, rinse, repeat, 5 days a week. And you think about that, so many people, I guess you could basically say they're living for the weekend, those 2 days where they're free from whatever their job is. They're not, and not to say you're not happy in your job, but, you know, just thinking that there's got to be more. What else am I meant for?
Absolutely.
We have to create that.
We do. We have to create it for ourselves. We are the only people ww can create that for us, right? We're in charge of our own life.
Yeah.
And we have to take that action. And I think the most important thing is for people to recognize that they can.
Fear plays a big part in that, though. Fear plays a huge part in that. That's a big 4-letter word.
It is indeed.
And so I want to jump in here and speak a little bit about your work as an abstract and neurographica artist. We mentioned earlier that art has been taken out of the school system and it needs to be brought back. I can remember when I was in school, art was huge. I mean, there was music class, there was art class, like literal art class where you're painting or drawing and things like that. But I remember music was a big part of it. We had music classes in grades 7 and 8 in public school. Like in elementary school, you would learn to play the recorder or whatever those things, right? So it was very prevalent in school and it's not there anymore. I mean, I can even remember in junior high, grade 7 and 8, you could either take string classes or you could take band class. So it was just such a popular thing and it was a beautiful thing. I think that we need that. So speaking of the art and abstract and neurographica, for those who might not know or might have never heard of neurographica art, can you explain to people what exactly is neurographica art?
Sure. So neurographica art is actually a database driven process. And it's where you are using your instinctual process of drawing lines. So I like to say that you use your non-dominant hand, because when you use your dominant hand, you're thinking too much. And so you create what's like a mind map almost.
Okay.
And it taps into your neurons, your synapses in your brain. And it allows for there to be that connection that creates a meditative state that allows for your intuition and your intuitive side to tap into whatever your intent is.
Okay.
And so through the method of rounding corners out, because corners are hard stops, round is a circle. It's It's a symbol found everywhere in the universe. It allows us to tap into our intuition more. And it's just a process where you can literally do it to find your keys, as well as to relieve stress, anxiety, bring in abundance. So I
Wow.
love it because it really taps into your brain waves. It really taps into a meditative state.
That is really powerful. And so, how did you first discover Neurographica? What drew you to the art form?
So I've always been involved in art my entire life. And so I also, as a teacher, I like to do research.
Hmm.
I use art in my own life all the time. And I stumbled upon an article with the brain waves because remember, I'm starting this spiritual journey. So I'm
Yeah.
looking at things like that too. And I stumbled upon an article and it was discussing this Russian scientist who discovered this process. And I was looking into it further and it fascinated me. And so I tried it myself and I was like, okay, the article's correct. This is working and this is working. And I loved it. And then I also tried it out on my kids. And they were like, wow, I really do feel different after using it and doing it from being high strung.
Hmm.
And I mean, they're only 12 and a half right now. They're almost 13.
Yeah.
They were probably 11, 10, 11, but still they have friendship pressures and things of that nature. And I have one of my kids has anxiety.
Hmm.
And so I thought, let's try this too. And when I saw that it was working, I was like, okay, I definitely stumbled onto something that not many people know that I can offer and that I can use as well. So I love it. It's fun.
The differences are that noticeable.
They really are. I've led workshops before where I've had clients work with me for the very first time
Mhm.
using NeuroGraphica art with a specific intent. And in the middle of the workshop, they've blurted out, wow, I feel different already. I'm completely relaxed. I'm not even focused on anything that
Mhm.
we did prior to this.
Yeah.
So it really does. And it really, because of the intuition, the intuitive component of it with the way
Mhm.
that you create, and then with the other part of the process with rounding things out,
Mhm.
it really does connect your brain to the intent that you set beforehand. It's
So
fascinating.
is that part of the process then when you sit down to create a piece of Neurographica art, you have to set an intent for that piece?
You don't have to, but yes, you should. I
Okay.
find that it's more helpful. I find that if you do like a brain dump,
Mhm.
so to speak, for whatever your intent is, let's say you're facing the fears.
Okay.
We mentioned fear before,
Yeah.
right? Taking the leap. So
Mhm.
you do a brain dump and you would write everything down that you're afraid of
Okay.
that's getting in your way. That's on one side of the paper. You flip it over.
Ah.
And then on the other side of the paper is where we're going to create the neurographical art. It's going to
Hmm.
cover it up. It's going to take it out. It's going to
Interesting.
wash it away.
So you sit down, you create an intent, or you think of something that you want to, or you intend to get out of creating this piece. You write it on the back of the piece of paper, and then you create the art on the flip side of that.
Yes,
Very interesting. Okay. Thank you for explaining that.
of course.
What is it about, because you love abstract art. What is it about abstract and neurographic art that resonates so deeply for you and with you compared to other art forms?
So abstract art has always been my wheelhouse. Even when I was younger and I went through MICA, which is the Maryland Institute College of Art, I've always been drawn to abstract art. And when we're talking about the awakening that I had, one of the components was that looking around my apartment, I noticed the artwork that I had sitting over on my art table. And each of those pieces represented a time that I was dealing with that was difficult.
Okay.
And so I knew that if I was able to create through abstract art and I was able to get through to the other side of something that was a concern, a problem, a worry, whether it was divorce, financial issues, having my children, whatever it might be, that my art was always my go-to. That's what I went to. And abstract art, I think, is one of the most underrated and underappreciated components in the health and healing and mental well-being field, because everything that we do is verbal, right? You go, no disrespect to any therapists or anything. I am a person who has gone to therapy, but it's all verbal. We have to find our words for things. And there are many people in this world who have a hard time putting their feelings into words and articulating what they feel. Abstract art is that window for them. And that is huge for people to be able to express themselves in a manner where there are no rules.
Yeah.
None. No rules for abstract
You don't
art.
have to color inside the lines.
You
It doesn't
do
have to
not.
look a certain way.
Exactly. I don't care what color your sky is, if it's the sky, right? And it's amazing because it just opens up so much for people. And it's oftentimes after the art is created, that is when you can find the words to express what you were feeling.
When I think of abstract art, I think of Jackson Pollock.
Yes.
That's the first thing that comes to mind. First person that comes to mind, first artist that comes to mind. Just I think it's just being in the moment and creating whatever you're feeling, whether that be splashing paint on a canvas and taking brush strokes through all of that, or there's so many different ways. Like you said, there's no rules to abstract art. You just create whatever you're feeling. You do whatever you feel. Express yourself through art. Art is such an expressive form. And there's so many different art: photography, painting, drawing, music. It is such a powerful thing. Art is a beautiful, powerful thing.
Absolutely. One of, if not the most, in any format, as you had mentioned, the most powerful format for self-creation and reflection.
It is, for sure.
And growth.
Yeah, absolutely. Personal growth, 1000%. And how has practicing abstract and Neurographica transformed your own life and perspective?
I think that working through problems that I was having, I think that in my current journey, being able to practice abstract art and pulling in the Neurographica art as well has really helped me become more centered. It's also allowed me to see my own vision. It's allowed me to truly know that this is what I meant to do. I found myself again. I found my love. I found my passion. This is where it stems from. And I now know that this is what I meant to do. I meant to bring this to other people and allow them to have the joy that I have through it. And also not just joy, but work through trauma and healing through it. But it's just transformed my own perspective for that question that I had sitting on the sofa. What am I meant to do? There's more to life than this.
It's a beautiful gift, for sure. Can you discuss what the impact and effects of abstract art and Neurographica have been on mental health and being that you've witnessed?
Sure. I mean, just that example before for the Neurographica art, having people say to me within 5 to 10 minutes of the process, I already feel a difference. At the end, while I never knew that I could feel this way, while I never knew that I could actually put this to the side and not worry about it. The process of abstract art allows for people to see their journeys. It allows for people to see a beginning and an end, and to be able to express it without fear, without limitations. without rules, without someone dictating to them what they should or shouldn't do, have to or don't have to do, why or why not they should. It's so incredibly freeing. And the feedback that I get when I work with my clients, I can't even, like, the word thank you to them when they share what they experience is not enough for me, I feel.
Yeah.
When you know that you can change someone's life and you can bring something into someone else that they haven't had or experienced or didn't know they could even experience.
That's
it's
powerful.
incredible.
It is. And it's so healing. All of the things. It's transformative. It really is.
It is
And
indeed.
again, no matter what form it is, but I hear a lot of people say, I don't have a creative bone in my body. It's just not who I am. I can't draw. I can't do this. What are your thoughts on that when people say that to you? Because I'm sure you hear it as well,
All the time.
integrating art into what you do and teaching people. So what do you think about that? And what do you say to people when you hear that?
I say false thought. I say that's a fear coming in. That's a limiting belief that you have. That's you telling yourself something that you haven't tried yet.
Mm-hmm.
And that if you are able to hold a pencil, a paintbrush, a sponge, a spoon, literally, like,
Yeah.
household item is you can create art. Everyone is an artist. Everyone has creativity within themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And you just need the right person and method to tap into it and allow you to feel safe.
Yeah.
Right?
I think this is a common trait among adults. You don't hear kids say, I can't draw or I can't do this. They just do it. I think that as adults, it gets conditioned out of us. We forget that we were creative as kids and that we loved to create, and it was just part of who we were. It gets tamped down or conditioned out of us so that we forget. And then it's like you said, you've got this fear that comes in. If it doesn't look this way, if it's not perfect, what are people going to say? Or I can't do this because it's not going to turn out like this. Or all of these things come up to prevent us from doing these self-limiting beliefs and whatnot that get conditioned into us. So we forget that, you know what, we do have creativity within us. Everyone does.
Yes. And I think that even that conditioning as an adult comes in with our jobs.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm an accountant. I'm not creative. I work with numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you are. And you might be one of the people who needs it the most in your life.
Yeah.
And so I feel that the more visibility that I can provide for this medium, the more people can see how it can actually really change lives and allow them to move forward with whatever it is that they feel might be a block.
Yeah.
And just to have joy, have fun.
Just create.
Just for the sake of creating.
Yes, exactly. You don't have to be the next Picasso. You don't have to create artwork that you can sell. It's creating for you.
Exactly. And that's how it started for me. My creating was getting me through things. I created also for joy when my children were born.
I mean, you never know where it could go. You could end up being incredibly talented and sell your artwork. Who knows? But the point is to get started, is to start and to create. I went out and bought a mixed media pad. I bought Sharpies. I bought pencil crayons for Neurographica because I learned about it a little while back and I haven't started it yet, but I am going to. This is bringing that back for me and I want to start doing it. I want to create my first piece. So I'm really excited to get into that and do that. And I used to do abstract painting long time ago, years ago. And again, speaking to you now, I got to buy myself a couple canvases and just create, just do it. It feels good to be in that space.
It really does. And I'll tell you what the best paintbrushes are. Our fingers. You don't need to go buy fancy paintbrushes. You have 10 of them on your hand right now.
I love that. Lauri, where do you pull your inspiration from when you're creating your artwork?
everywhere. I mean, my kids, definitely things that are happening in my life, things that I see in the world that I want change to come from, joy, even just like I did a painting recently of a flower and the petals were all of the goals that I want to have. So it comes from within. It's looking out my window and hearing the birds chirp and seeing the sun shining and just creating from that. And sometimes it's just creating because, you know what, I don't want to turn the TV on and I want something different for my mind. And I want music playing and I just get into that groove
Zone,
and that
yeah.
feeling in the zone. And that's it. Forget about it.
We're off to the races. Let's
We
go.
are
Let's
off to the
create.
races. Exactly.
So you've mentioned a couple times that you help people, you teach people about art and the powers of it and teach them how to step into their artistic skill sets. As a result of finding abstract art, you've decided to share this art form, NeuroGraphica abstract art, but you're using it to help and to guide women in particular to find their creative voices through their emotions, visions, experiences. How did this part of your work come to fruition? What inspired this particular piece of you wanting to help women through the gift of art?
I know that just from the things that I experienced myself throughout my life, how art helped me get through those. And I know that I am not the only person who is dealing with the things that I've dealt with. And so I really felt drawn to wanting to help other people, women in particular, to be able to feel and have a voice for themselves. We are oftentimes shut down. We are still told to be quiet, to look good, and not to speak up. Unfortunately, with the way things are happening in our country here in the United States right now, our voice is not being allowed to be spoken as loudly as it had been, although we are rising up, that's for sure. But there are a lot of things happening. And I felt that women needed an outlet. They needed something that was affordable. They needed something that was easily attainable. And I would say 9 out of 10 people, if not 10 out of 10 people, have a piece of paper and a pencil or a pen in their home. That's where it can start, honestly. You can start right there. You do not need to have art materials. And knowing that many people have those 2 items in their home, that they can start a journey, that they can heal, that they can work through the issues that they're having, that they can find their voice within the art. And that at the end of the process, they now know where they were starting from and what they were feeling, but couldn't articulate. Or even if they could articulate it, they were able to get that emotion down on the canvas or the paper.
That's beautiful. Can you tell us a little bit about the program, how it works, how you help these women, what's involved?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a couple different options that I offer. I work with people one-on-one. I always offer a 20-minute free consultation for anyone because I want people to get to know me. I want them to feel comfortable and confident with me and for me as well. And so looking at whether or not working one-on-one together is something that would work. I oftentimes offer workshops online based on a specific theme. I currently have a membership where every month we meet online to create based on a specific concern or issue. We just did limiting beliefs last month. And so that meets twice a month. The first session in the month is where we're actually creating. And the second session during the month is for questions and answers. Because there's always a follow-up. You create and then things come up for you. May not come up for you the day you're creating, but usually always after. So I offer that. And I also travel to retreats for coaches who are offering retreats for their clients. Oftentimes are looking for a different modality to help their clients. And so I travel and I create a workshop during retreats. And I'm actually in the process of building something really big that I'm getting ready to launch for light workers, healers, and coaches that will help all of those people tap in to their creative, intuitive side to be able to better help their clients.
Beautiful. Well, I look forward to hearing all about that. And I'm sure by the time the episode comes out, you will have launched that. So we'll put that link in the show notes for everyone to learn all about that. So thank you for sharing that.
Of course.
Lauri, what do you think your unique skill set or superpower is that's helped you become successful?
I'm going to have to say patience, because Rome was not built in a day, as they say. And I know that things don't always happen overnight, and you have to be diligent, and you have to believe in yourself and believe in what you know you're meant to do. And sometimes you have to go down different paths, and sometimes you have to turn around and come back up that path and take a different one.
Yeah.
And then you have to take another one.
Mm-hmm.
And patience is important. And I used to start something and feel passionate in it, but it wasn't happening as fast as I wanted it to, and I'd give up on it. I've learned that I have to be patient, that if I've been drawn to something, it's meant for me. In the right time and the right steps, it's going to be mine.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that's going to happen.
Yeah.
No, I was going to say, I know that I've had to really tap into that patience.
I think that is one of the most important skill sets that we need as entrepreneurs is patience, because you got to play that one for the long game. You have to look at the long game for that. It takes time to build a business, to build a brand. And so many people give up too early, and it's about staying the course and continue to put in the work and continue to believe in yourself, for sure.
Absolutely.
Speaking of success, how do you define that word? What does success mean to you?
I used to think it was the number of dollars in my bank account, but that's really shifted for me. Success is having someone tell me, thank you. Thank you for helping. Thank you for changing something for me. Seeing a smile on my students' faces, seeing a smile and getting a hug from my kids, that's success. That's what it is. And if it allows for the energy of a compensation in the form of money, fabulous. But if not, that's okay. I'm successful because I made a difference in someone else's world.
Love it. What would you say is one of the most important things you've learned in your life? And what was your life like before you learned it? And what was your life like after you learned it?
Oh my goodness. The world is not against me. And I think that through all of the things that I've been through, it's so easy for us to live in a victim mentality, and recognizing that is not the reality. That's not my reality. Being able to let go of it and just knowing that everything is meant to be and to let it flow has completely changed everything for me. I am a lot less stressed out and high strung.
That's a good thing. That's definitely a good thing. What would you say is one of your biggest failures or teachable moments, we'll call it, and what did you learn from it?
That's a loaded question, Brad, because I can think of something. So I was going to say that the biggest failure, the first thing that came to my mind, let's just go with that, was honestly not leaving my marriage sooner. Okay. Stayed in it because I was worried about what people would think and bringing trauma to my family, whereas I was the one that was actually in the trauma, right? I'm worried about what it looked like, and no one else was ever divorced in my family. And so staying in that longer But what it taught me is that I'm okay on my own. I'm a really strong cookie, right? I can do things by myself. I can empower myself. I am independent. I love connections with other people, but I don't need other people to be able to be me. And just
Powerful.
knowing that I am me and I
Beautiful
can
you.
stand.
Love it. What does the word empowerment mean to you?
When I hear the word empowerment, I think I envision, here's that creative component, right?
Yeah.
The visualization part. I just envision taking a deep breath in and standing tall and feeling grounded and secure. That's empowerment to me. Because if you are grounded and you feel secure and stable, and you're able to take a deep breath in and let it out and know that you are in that moment, you can do anything. And that's empowered.
What is an unexpected blessing or occurrence in your life that you're grateful for, Lauri?
Oh, I think the awakening that I had, I really do. Because without having that time and that click happen for me at that moment, I wouldn't be in the place where I am. And it's been such a blessing because it happened when my kids are still at a younger age and I can pass things on to them and teach them.
Beautiful. Hey, we're going to jump into a little rapid fire section. So the next
Oh
grouping
my.
of questions just be 1, 2, 3, 4 for answer
Okay.
type thing. Okay. You ready?
Ready.
You got this. How would you describe yourself in one word? With a warning label, what would yours say?
Explosives.
What is one thing you love about yourself that is not related to your physical appearance?
Empathy.
What is your personal motto?
Be true to yourself.
If you could teach the world one thing, what would it be?
Kindness.
What is your favorite self-care practice?
The beach.
What is one thing you want but cannot buy with money?
Conditional love.
And that concludes our rapid fire section. Now back to our regularly scheduled program. See, you rocked it. You did great. I created a bonus question that I did not send you ahead of time. If other people could use 3 words to describe you, what would you want those 3 words to be?
Kind, loyal, magical.
Beautiful. What challenge in your life would you say has shaped you the most, Lauri?
Definitely leaving my marriage.
Yeah.
It was an abusive situation and it took a lot.
What is one lesson that your career has taught you that you think everybody should learn at some point in their life?
Everyone has a story. You don't know what's behind the cover of the book.
I like that. Everyone does have a story. I hear this all the time from women that I speak with and interview. I don't have a story, or my story's not interesting enough, or I haven't gone through what these women have gone through if they've listened to the podcast. And I just no, everybody has a story. And I truly, wholeheartedly believe that it is your duty and your responsibility to share that story, because that story, you standing up, first of all, you having the courage and the strength to stand up and share it, is a permission slip for others to do the same. You are setting an example by doing that. And your story, I guarantee you, I promise you, will impact someone's life in some way.
It's so true. They say, you never know who's watching.
Oh, and that is so true. So true. I can tell you that. I've had so many people reach out to me and say, I've been watching your journey for quite a while and you're doing this, or I love this, or whatever the case may be. You never know who's listening, who's watching you. Share your damn story. You do have a story and you need to share it.
Yes. And it's for those people who are listening that might say, I don't have a story. Because you're saying you don't have a story, you definitely have one.
There you go. You heard it here first, folks. Lauri's telling you, you have a story. What is your why?
My kids. Honestly, my kids. I want them to grow up in a world that is safe, that's safe not just physically safe to express themselves, safe to live their authentic lives. And I feel that my art can help create that.
Beautiful. If you could step into my shoes, what question would you have asked yourself that I didn't ask you?
Oh my goodness, Brad, that's a great one. How about, how long do you feel that you'll be doing this work?
Okay, go ahead.
Forever.
Do you ever see this work overtaking your teaching?
I hope so.
Yeah. Is that the goal? Is that the plan?
That's my goal. My goal is, while I know that I've had, and I'm embarking on year 34 of teaching, I know that out of the community and the confines of the walls of the building in which I teach is where I'm meant to be. I'm meant to be out in the world. I'm meant to travel to different places and bring what I offer to everyone. And that's the whole dream and the component of helping other coaches and retreats and just being able, even businesses, and bringing my work to everyone, men
That's
and women.
Beautiful goal and a beautiful vision. And I have no doubt you will get there. If you had the opportunity to sit down and have a 1-hour conversation with one woman, any woman in the world, who would it be and why?
One only, right? I think that many people might say someone famous and well-known, but I don't feel that I had enough time and didn't take advantage of the time that I had with my grandmother. She was a very wise woman. She had been through much in her life as well, and she always gave great advice. And there have been many times when I look up at the ceiling or I see 11:11 on my clock, and I just say, Grandma, I need some help here. And I would just love to have time back with her, to sit down with her, because I think that she would be really proud of where I am now and would have some amazing insight for me for where to go and how to do it.
Beautiful. If you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that piece of advice be?
You are worthy of everything.
That's a powerful one. Powerful and beautiful piece of advice. Lastly, Lauri, if you were to deliver your last 30-second speech to the world, your tribe, your people, your corner of the world, what would that last 30 seconds sound like? What words of wisdom would you impart?
You are powerful. You are creative. You are created from creativity. You can do anything you set your mind to. Just start.
Beautiful way to end the interview. Lauri, thank you so much for taking and making the time to be here with me today. I have thoroughly enjoyed our conversation. You have inspired me to step back into creating in terms of abstract painting and starting my Neurographica art journey. So thank you for that. And thank you for sharing your beautiful light and all the beautiful light you put out into the world through the work you do. Thank you for sharing a bit about your story and your journey. I appreciate you. I am so grateful to have you as a member of the Empowerography community. Thank you for all that you do.
Oh, thank you for the honor and allowing me to share with you. I appreciate it greatly.
The honor and the pleasure is all mine. Thank you for taking and making the time to be here with me today. Once again, my name is Brad Walsh, host of your Empowerography podcast. Today, my guest has been Lauri Getlan-Watson. She is an abstract and NeuroGraphika artist, a teacher, and a guide. Thank you so much, Lauri. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day.
Thank you, Brad. You too.
Thank you very much for listening to this podcast. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share with all your friends. You can find me at visuphoria.ca and follow me on Instagram at Empowerography Podcast and on Facebook at Empowerography. Please join me next time for another inspirational story from yet another amazing woman.